All right, well, we will bring the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. And our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I could hear a motion for approval of the agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as published.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. Before public comment, I just have a few things. I will make a reminder that public comment is outlined in our policy 4105, and it specifically prohibits statements that are personally directed or abusive, obscene, or repetitive. And I encourage you in public comment to remain respectful. I want to answer a couple of questions that came up in previous public comment. The first one was regarding signs, informing students how to report any misbehavior on school buses. Thanks, Kelly.
Sorry.
Due to the location of the sign at the front of the bus, an additional sign is now being placed in the middle of the bus to allow better visibility for all students. So that is a response. And then I also want to respond to school board policy and Idaho code. They address parents' rights in Idaho schools. We had a comment about a potential parent bill of rights. And we are investigating through educational organizations at the state level and producing a document for easier access for that. So that's sort of pending in the works. Also, I've asked, this was another public comment, I've asked LPOSD administration to report on the district's performance metrics at a future meeting. I do want to let you know that the 2021 graduation rate has not yet been published, and the 2020 graduation rate, which is the last one we have, was well above state average, and I know that had come up in a comment. Our first public comment for today is a zoom in from Misty Swanson at the Idaho School Board Association. Misty, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Very well. Thank you and welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. Here's the school board, and I will direct your attention over the other way. So Misty, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. I really appreciate the opportunity to present to you this evening, and I wish I could be there with you all in person. As you may know, the ISBA annual convention is next week, and a part of the convention is holding an awards banquet, where we honor the great work of board members and staff. You can still hear me okay, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I am so incredibly honored to share that Lake Pend Oreille's very own Kelly Fisher is this year's ISBA's Clerk of the Year. Congratulations, Kelly. So for Kelly and the board and the staff, during the awards banquet, we will be sharing details about the nomination. So I hope to take just a moment to share with you all what we're going to be sharing with over 550 attendees next week. So here's a few things that the board and others in the staff and community had to say about their clerk, Kelly. Kelly exemplifies everything an ideal clerk should be. She has been amazing, supportive, and positive throughout all sorts of unusual and difficult situations. She is well educated about all school board issues and topics. She manages to keep all of us on task and within the boundaries of what a school board is required to do and what we should not be doing as well. She is also an excellent speaker and has volunteered at the ISBA conventions since the very first year of her clerkship. She continues to impress us with her willingness to step up to any task. She is well liked and trusted by all of the administrative staff and at the district office, and has the respect of all board members and superintendent. We all admire her both professionally and in her personal life as a mother and community member. So we do have this little plaque that we'll be shipping to you. So on behalf of ISBA, our members, and our executive board, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Misty. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
For kicking off our
All right, thank you, congratulations.
Thanks, Misty.
Thank you. And I'm moving on in public comment right on to Janine Shepherd. Congratulations. Thank you.
Way to go, Kelly.
Hi. So I just wanted to come here and pray for you guys, pray for the meeting tonight. I would love it if you would join me in prayer. Dear Lord, we stand before you tonight seeking your wisdom and knowledge. We cannot do this life without you, but we need your hand upon us. We have problems in our city and schools that we cannot solve on our own. We pray for those suffering from depression and mental illness, Lord. We ask that your divine hand would be upon them. We command the spirit of suicide to leave our county in Jesus' name, and that your sweet peace would settle on everyone here. We pray for anyone who is suffering, that they return to their right mind. We pray for people in the throes of addiction and pray that you will heal them, that drugs and alcohol would not have a grip on them. We command the spirit of addiction to leave our county, and that the people would seek you, Lord, instead of all the ways we try to fill this place in us that should only belong to you. Lord, our hope is in you. Please bless this meeting, the Board of Trustees, the Superintendent. May your peace rest upon them. May they be diligent in seeking you and your will for our schools and our city. May they know of your great love for them and that you long to meet with them. Make yourself real to them and everyone here tonight. Soften the hearts of all the people. From Numbers 6:24 through 26, I ask, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. We thank you in advance for what you will do. You are mighty and good, and we love you. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
And our second is Melinda Rossman.
Melinda Rossman, thank you for letting me speak. I like to speak about truth. I research all the time, and the truth is we're on the brink. Our country's on the brink, and it will affect every aspect of who we are as citizens and Americans. And all the buffoons that have been put in power throughout our nation in the last 8 months are teetering our republic. And the truth is, there's too much complacency. We've got to get more people out fighting against this tyranny, fighting against these lies, fighting against these tyrants. And it's got to start at the local level. And we all have to be aware of it. We all have to be speaking about it. We all have to be acting against it. And it's the truth. The media is only covering lies. They're only telling us what they want us to hear, you know? I just realized I'm a recovering Democrat. I grew up with the lies of the 60s and 70s and the 80s. I grew up with that. I was brainwashed by my own family to believe what was, I thought, the truth. And it wasn't until the last 10 years of my life that I realized, wait a minute, something's not right here. And then more so, even more so, in the last 8 years. And then even more so in the last year, 8 months. The truth is being kept from us, and we're being lied to in the media every day. And if we're not doing the research to find the truth, we're being complacent. And I'm not going to be complacent. And I'm going to keep speaking against it, and I'm going to keep looking for the truth. And I hope you will too. Thank you.
Sherry Kilford is next.
Tilford. My daughter attends the Homeschool Academy. Thank you again, Geraldine, for addressing previous comments. I found it so helpful. I really like this new feedback we're getting back and forth. So I do want to address the parents' rights again. I know changing policies in any sort of organization is a job fit for Sisyphus, and so I'm encouraging other parents to help me push this rock up the hill and keep the pressure on. There is a law that exists in Florida that was just adopted over the summer to encode the Parents' Bill of Rights, and I know on the federal level that's being proposed as well. And I emailed each of you after last meeting to let you know the language of an actual school district's code that had parents' rights, and I think it's really important that we specifically have a code that goes beyond what the state is doing, or even the county or anyone else. I think it's of immense concern that the Panhandle Health District is hosting clinics in 2 schools in the area, an elementary school in St. Mary's and the Forestburg Charter School here in Sandpoint. I know you guys have said you wouldn't allow any vaccine clinics in any of the school campuses, but I think it's really important to get that in writing. So important language would be about maintaining the right to make healthcare decisions for a minor child. And as we are all individuals with various strengths, vulnerabilities, and health histories, a blanket decision for all to follow is never appropriate when it comes to healthcare. Informed consent is absolutely critical to health choice, one that is being vociferously denied in this inverted reality filled with insanity and hysteria that has been foisted upon us by the ruling masters. When any medical procedure is recommended, whether it be masks or vaccines or DNA-altering experimental injections, which are chimeric genetic bioweapons, risks and side effects need to be front and center of the conversation. One cannot give informed consent if coerced. Denying participation in school activities unless one acquiesces to medical dictates does not count as informed consent. I think it is akin to medical rape. So for all of you parents who want to be involved, there's a message group on the Signal messaging app, LPOSD Parents' Rights. Please join, please voice your opinion for or against. I think it's really important that we all be a part of the conversation. And I think the recent election was a reminder that you guys work for us, and when you don't, you'll be replaced. Thank you.
So the next is Rebecca Holland.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Holland. I'm a longtime resident of Bonner County, 46 years. My 3 sons attended K through 12 and are all Sandpoint High School graduates, which gives me a cumulative total of 26 years involvement as a parent. In addition, for my other 20 years as a tax-paying property, I read better without these. Tax-paying, property-owning resident, now retired, I have always followed the progress made in our district and have supported our schools from the ballot box to direct help at numerous schools. I think it's very important to recognize that it is we collectively here that are in a partnership in education in regards to educating the youth of our community. So I am here tonight to address you because I understand that that's what we do, is we come and we address you, and we're not talking to an audience, but I'm addressing you. And I wish to thank you, each of you, for serving on the school board. I know you're not paid. This is dedication. And to recognize the important work you do. Some very good things have been implemented by this board, and I thank you sincerely. And I will say, last time I was here, the terrible, disrespectful display that I saw at the last meeting can never be acceptable. It is beyond offensive, I think, for someone to turn their back on an elected board and loudly spew misinformation at those sitting here. I was directly below that man, and I had to move away. And for that, I was ridicule for wearing my mask, which is my right, my right to wear a mask in a pandemic, and I will do that. And I was told to go back to California. So for the record, again, I'd like to let you know that I've lived here 46 years in Bonner County, and I moved here from Ohio, as if that matters one way or the other. In my opinion, the man that was here should lose his privilege to address this board unless there is a written public apology, because you guys deserve our respect, and that's the end of that. Thank you. Thank you for going over the rules again tonight. I think that's important. Public meetings need to maintain order, and there was a loss of order then. So again, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
And the last public comment is Kristen Dahl.
I'm shooting from the hip tonight. First, I just want to say congratulations to Kelly. Your work really is it's not unnoticed. The minutes you put out are always so detailed and thorough, and when comparing to other school districts, it was brought to my attention. I don't normally look at other school districts, but it was brought to my attention that other school districts just are not doing near what you're doing. So I just want to say congratulations. You really deserve it.
Thank you.
And you're always so sweet. So, real quick, I was just going through the agenda packet and going through the resolutions that you guys are going to be discussing tonight. And resolution number 3, ISBA resolution number 3, I just wanted to say at first glance, it just seemed like more government overreach to me, and I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of discussion on that, the pros and cons of that one before voting on it. And then I want to kind of follow up with what Sherry said is putting it on a future agenda. I know it's been brought up about the Parents' Bill of Rights. We'd love to see a resolution, and I want to kind of reiterate the whole vaccine clinic issue. I would really love for that to be included in a resolution, a future resolution that, you know, is part of that Parents' Bill of Rights, because I do know that there is an Idaho statute that's pretty scary that allows, I believe, children who are 14 years or older to not require the parent consent to get a vaccine. So I don't want to make it any easier for that to happen by allowing vaccine clinics on school grounds. So I cannot stress that enough, that we just cannot have that. We need to defend the rights of the parents and being able to be that final line of defense between medical professionals and our children. I think that was really the bulk of it. So thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you. So that's all we had signed up for public comment. Thank you, everyone. And we will move straight on into a school presentation here from Sandpoint Middle School with Principal Carrie Grenier.
Thank you to the board for inviting us up today. I'm so excited to talk to you about what's happening at Sandpoint Middle School right now. So I'm Carrie Grenier, I'm the principal. Prior to this position, I was the assistant principal and the athletic director. And we have the fabulous Kelly who's going to take us through the slides. And congratulations to you, Kelly. Thank you. So when I was thinking about this, I wanted to do a quick little history lesson all the way back to 2016. So not that far along, but in 2016, we changed our mission and our vision to make learning irresistible at Sandpoint Middle School. And the caveat for doing that originally was drawing students into our school, increasing enrollment, bringing kids in. And some things that have changed, we have the same challenge, but we have increased enrollment right now. Right now we're looking at 50 additional students in our walls at our highest peak in previous years, and really it's closer to 90 extra bodies in our building right now. And so we've kind of met that threshold that we were thinking about in 2016. But our new circumstance is that we have increased enrollment, but we want the kids to show up consistently every single day. So our new challenge is keeping learning irresistible by keeping them in the seats at school. We want their bodies in our building, and so that's our goal moving forward right now. And we've definitely seen that increased learning gap, and we've seen it with content, we've seen physical changes in kids, and we've seen emotional changes in kids where their gap of emotions is larger than we've typically had to address before, with you know, some gaps in relationship skills with a lot of the new students moving in who maybe hadn't received education the last couple of years. We're dealing with that too, so we have a big gap, a learning gap, but also emotional and physical gap too. And we are dealing with some amazing new staff. So we have 8 new teaching staff, 2 new admin, which includes myself, a new office coordinator, a new school counselor, and 3 teachers who aren't new to our building but are in completely new roles at our school right now. So what is working? The people that we've hired are incredible. We are so very happy that they've joined our team and they're doing a great job. We're continuing to offer lots of exciting electives, which we'll talk about. And what we're seeing too is this huge desire for involvement. The kids want to be involved, parents want to be involved, teachers want to be involved. People are showing up to games, they're trying out for teams. They're showing up and they want to be involved, and it's really cool to see. And then I highlighted our foundation of PLCs because one thing, that's a lot of new staff to bring into a building in a year, but the foundation of our PLCs, our professional learning communities, have created this collaborative, helpful, awesome environment that's making it not appear to be a school full of brand new teachers. It's a school full of collaborative staff, so it's awesome. So some things that I wanted to point out today, because with all of those things that we're thinking about, we really focus on creating that safe and positive culture for all of our students and our staff included. And so there's some little acronyms right there, but our really focus is student engagement and student ownership is to really bring the kids back into the building of SMS, even though they're physically, like emotionally, I am a bullpup. And I want to be here, and this is my school, and this is how I'm driving it. So we've added the Design for Change class, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And those kids are really taking on issues that they're seeing in our own building, local, bigger, and they're really doing something about it, which is really fun to see. So I have some things to come up there, and they're working off the sources of strength. We have our positive behavioral support systems. We've increased our student of the month, and I so wish I could have brought some of my students here to show you. We had 60 student of the months in the September and October, and we did a little ceremony in our cafeteria, but I wish you could have met them because they're really great kids, and we'll continue to do that every month. Our win time is something sort of new to SMS, and that's what I'm going to highlight in just a minute. We have incentive days too. But we've had to increase our support systems too, and this is the win time that I'll talk about in a minute. And we have this thing called opportunity room, so if you're not having an opportunity to get your work done at home, we give you an extra opportunity to get that done at school, because we're battling a few issues of just getting kids to turn their things in. We've added some additional applied math classes to support those learners who kind of came in at a lower level than we're used to seeing. And then where our focus is really on attendance, getting our students in the building. How do we get them here every day? And so our expectations for student learning, we have some pretty clear goals in ELA and math. And we've included these CER brief rights that are science-based with science vocabulary, and we're doing them across the curriculum. And all of our PLCs, our content teams are working really closely together to ensure that we're supporting all the content areas in every single class at SMS, including our electives, which we really pride ourselves in offering a wide variety of electives to try to get the kids involved in something new that they haven't done before, but also make sure that we're hitting the standards and we're supporting all of the content areas while they're in those electives too. And so we focus a lot of this energy around our PLCs, and we have these things called a 15-day challenge they post on Schoology, and so the kids see like a consistent approach to what content is being delivered, and that includes their learning target. And all of our teachers do common formative, so we're hoping to catch those gaps before they get to that end of the unit assessment so that we can intervene. And we're trying to be really tight on Schoology. We're not offering an online option per se this year outside of IDLA, and so we're trying to be really consistent online. So the hook is how do we get kids to come into our walls? We want them to schedule a dentist appointment that's outside of the school day because they don't want to miss school at SMS, and that's what we try to offer. We have tons of really cool electives. I just wanted to point out in our STEAMworks class, we have a student up there writing her name on the beam of our wood shop, and she's being hoisted up by those students right there, and they use heavy algebra in these classes to figure out exactly how much weight do we need to pull for this student to be safely hoisted up to the beams. And we started a chess club, we have fitness going on, we have of course nutrition and cooking, and all of these classes too are also taking the ISATs, and they're using some of these standards to support whatever ISAT goals they can in here too. So we're taking really, really engaging ideas and then putting them into action and then supporting our goals through these classes too. So that's our hook. How do we get the kids here? Oh no, or maybe pushing it, maybe it was a fancy. Oh, there we go. So we're really focusing on our PLC questions, just making sure that every single student has access to a guaranteed and viable curriculum. That's what we do every single day. That's what we're streamlining every single day. And what's really cool this year is we are really focusing on question 3, like what happens if the student already knows it, and what happens if the student doesn't know it. And so what we're doing this year with WIN, and I did a little middle school BTW. By the way, we really, really crushed our ISAT goals last year. I'm sure you've already heard, but in 3 of our 4 targeted categories, we beat them by 9 and 12%. And the one that didn't make it still made progress, but just not as much, but we made 9 to 12% above our growth. So we really were excited about that last year. We've added some goals for our special population students, but the next slide will show something that we're going to do different this year. So our win time at SMS, we think it's really important for every student to see their certified professional person, and they get to see that person for 30 minutes extra every single week. So third period is 30 minutes, and they go, on Mondays they go back to first period, and what that first period gets to do is there's targeted intervention. We can reteach, reassess, clarify, we can make flexible grouping, we can extend opportunities for those students who are already getting it, and they go to every single one of their classes for an additional 30 minutes of grouping instruction, whether they need extension or intervention. And so we're excited to be able to offer that, and we're hoping that's going to help us close that learning gap that we're seeing.
Will you remind us of the acronym of WIN?
Oh, WIN. Oh, I'm sorry. What I need. So during that time is what I need. Yeah. So whatever they need during that time, we have priority lists of what they can choose, and then the teachers get their flexible grouping opportunities. And what's really kind of fascinating about that too is we have strength in other teachers who are teaching electives. One of our teachers, like Pat Lynch, he can take an accelerated math group during that time and do something extended too as we're intervening. So we're excited about that. So these are the 4 questions that we continue to we focus every decision on. What do we want the students to learn? How do we know if they've learned it? What will we do if they didn't learn it? And what will they do if they already know it? And so we're focusing every decision we make on that, and we're learning the changes of the difference between pre-COVID and post-COVID times and how we're adjusting to that. So we're excited about what's happening in our building, and I'm going to hand it over to Kyle.
All right, my name is Crosby Tajan. I'm the Assistant Principal and Athletic Director at the middle school. Madam Chair, members of the board, thanks for having us. Principal Grenier talked about having a robust course offerings and electives to bring some ownership for our students to the school where they do not want to miss being at Sandpoint Middle School. And with that, we want to have an equally strong extracurricular program. We try to think of it like the total student. We're trying to make them great academically, great socially, and productive, positive members of society. These are some of the key points that we talk about with the total student. Here are some just hard numbers. These are roster numbers based on the end of our fall seasons. I would say they were even stronger at the beginning, but we do have a little bit of attrition as seasons go along. But very robust numbers from our groups and extracurricular activities in the fall. We currently have wrestling still in action. They're kind of just a couple weeks in. And our enrollment, 567, we had a big turnout of kids participating in extracurriculars. 75% is pretty awesome for kids doing more than just a school day. They're invested in after-school programs, and we're just really proud of them and happy they're giving it a go. It was a beautiful fall for a lot of our outdoor activities. These are just a few pics of all of our groups. Football's in its 2nd year back at the middle school, 7th and 8th grade. We had a number of young ladies giving football a try as well. Let's see, tennis and We have tennis, volleyball. These are two pictures of our 8th grade and 7th grade B teams. They went down to Post Falls and brought home hardware, we call it, which is they won the championship for their divisions. Let's see, cross country had a really awesome season, and like I said, wrestling is going, and it's really neat to be able to say that wrestling now is pretty much a co-ed activity. We have quite a few young ladies that are giving that a solid effort, and we're happy to have them. Let's see, kind of things that are on the horizon for Sandpoint Middle School with extracurriculars. There is a duel versus Lakeland that we call Battle for the Paddle, and that is just us against Lakeland, and we're just seeing who can rack up the most points, and the winner takes home this custom paddle with the logos and school colors on each side from the representing schools. The wrestlers are pretty fired up about that. We open up our basketball season for boys and girls with about a month-long intramural program where we get a huge turnout from boys and girls, and this gives everybody a shot at some basic fundamentals with basketball, and then we roll it into a half-court type of format for a number of days. Then coming up kind of near the end of intramurals, we have a Region 1 wrestling tournament, so we're hosting the bigger schools from Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls for the culmination of the wrestling season. That's going to be a big deal on Saturday, December 11th. And then I'm happy to announce that we were able to get Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls to adopt 7th grade basketball for boys and girls and have it be a traveling format with us in Post Falls, because prior to that they were kind of just isolated in their own group doing it within the confines of Kootenai County. So now we're happy to have 7th grade boys and girls, A and B teams from each group being able to travel and compete, especially down in Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls.
Nice.
And so we roll into a 7th grade season first, and then they will wrap it up, and then we begin the same format but with 8th grade boys and girls. And so that allows us to be more efficient with gym usage, and just, you know, it's really good for middle schoolers, we believe, to have 7th graders with 7th graders and 8th graders with 8th graders. They'll have plenty of time to intermix when they get into high school. I believe that was the last slide. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to conclude really quickly with a challenge for our Design for Change students. And so Design for Change is, like I said, something new. We've added a class this year that the students look at issues and they come up with a way to combat it. And we are in Kindness Week right now in parallel with the high school. And so they put together just a super short video, a little challenge for our board.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Hi, we're in Design for Change. I'm Izzy. I'm Jack. And I'm Joe. So in Design for Change, we work on the Source of Strength wheel. The Source of Strength gives you resilience and helps you bounce back from challenges that we may face. It mainly focuses on like mental health and keeping that strong. But so in Design for Change, we're really focusing on different aspects of the wheel at different points in time. This month is generosity, and we're doing like the kindness challenge.
So for the kindness challenge, we challenge you to do as many as you can, but at least one random act of kindness. And then like take a picture of what you did and send it to Ms. Dickinson through email. We want to know how did you feel and how it made the person you did it for feel.
Who are we emailing that to?
Miss Dickinson.
Okay,
Myself,
that's
and I can
right.
make sure.
She runs the Design for Change program.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Well, I appreciate the
I'm sorry.
the update from your school, and it sounds like amazing things are happening, starting out with extra student population and added staff. And congratulations to the admin for really stepping up to the tasks at hand. And congrats on your academic achievements also. Does the board have any questions for Principal Grenier? Just kudos, stuff like that.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
It's fun.
Keep up the
Love
good
it.
work.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
And we get to follow right up with a presentation from Kootenai Elementary with Principal Kelly Knowles.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Take a second to get mine connected.
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is.
So mine is all pictures, no words. I just wanted to start off to say that we're celebrating gratitude at Kootenai this month. And we are very thankful for you, our school board, and our superintendent that supports our staff. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I also want to echo congratulations to Kelly. You are so supportive of us and our staff and our students. So I appreciate you, and that's well deserved.
Thank you.
So this is a picture of our kids in our learning landscape. We have 10 acres to the north of. I have to stand on the basketball court to know which way north is. So we have 10 acres to the north of our school that we have turned into a outdoor learning space. We have 2 outdoor classrooms out there, and we also have a half-mile loop trail with a story walk on it. And I wrote a grant to the Selkirk Association of Realtors in the spring, and they granted it. So now we have 30 sets of snowshoes that we're going to use to trot around in the learning landscape this winter. It's a pretty cool place.
Yeah.
What we're loving this year at Kootenai is our WIN groups. We also do What I Need groups. This is our 3rd year of WIN groups. And so we've expanded them a lot. And I just want to highlight and thank Summer Tigert as our assistant principal. And she has a ton of brain power behind us, and our scheduling is really tight to create a master schedule to support these 30-minute intervention blocks. So I just want to thank you for your help with it. This year we added WIN groups to kindergarten. We're so thankful for full-day kindergarten because it gives us the availability to support kids and really give them what they need while they're at school in that foundational time. As you know, kindergartners come to school with all different sorts of kindergarten readiness skills. We have some students who can read or identify letters and numbers, and we have some students who don't know that you raise your hand to ask for help, or you have to wait in line, or what to do to go to the bathroom, or walking in a hallway. So we have all different levels of students coming into kindergarten. So having full-day kindergarten available helps us to incorporate WIN time and really focus on social emotional needs as well as academic needs. These 3 pictures right here are, we do push-in support for our WIN time, so that means we have about 6 individuals that push into each kindergarten classroom during their WIN time for both math and reading. And some students are working on social emotional skills during their WIN times. Some students are working on letter sounds reteach, and then these 2 girls are extension. They are above grade level as far as what they're learning, and so they're playing alphabet tic-tac-toe. And so it's really great that we're available to offer these things. And we've already seen huge growth in kindergarten. At the beginning of the year, our benchmark assessments for iStation, which is our reading assessment from the state, were around 46% came in proficient, and already 2 months in, we're above 60% proficient. So that's huge growth in kindergarten, and we're so excited to see year-long how that progresses. Here's some more pictures of WIN time. This is a 2nd grade teacher. She's teaching different students from different classes. This is an extension. So these guys are working on word blends, they're writing on the desk.
I see that.
They're using expo markers. I went in there and said, I'm going to tell the principal, you guys are writing on the desks. But they were using expo markers, so they are erasable. And then at the end of it, they all got to share out and reflect on what their favorite part of the learning was. So all of this is happening in a 40-minute block, which is pretty amazing in second grade. So second grade's changing between 3 classrooms. Kids are going for what they need. Our title support staff is helping at that time as well. The thing I am most excited about this year, it's kind of my baby, is that we have math win time. And we've never had math win time before. But what we were seeing is we were seeing students who were getting to 5th or 6th grade listening to on-level instruction with huge holes in foundational skills. So knowing how to multiply double digits or place value, their times tables, things like that. When we shut down for COVID, that also took 3 months of learning away from students. So we were like, that's why they don't know this stuff, because they never learned it. So we're using win time to fill in gaps where we need it and also provide extension opportunities. Something cool that's happening in second grade is our curriculum, K through 6, really doesn't have a lot of emphasis on telling time, money, being able to identify different money, and also geometry skills, which is something that we consistently need support with on our ISATs when the kids get older. And so our second grade team has broken up our second graders into 3 groups. So one classroom has 4 adults teaching time, another one has 4 adults working on money sense, and another classroom has 3 adults teaching different geometry, basic geometry, things like how to identify different shapes, things like that. And so that's been really fun to watch as well. And also meet a need. The second grade teachers are really excited because it's meeting a need that we've never had time in our schedule to dedicate to before. So instead of saying, well, all these kids are just going to need to buy analog or digital clocks, they can now tell time on an analog clock. So it's really cool. And these other 2 pictures are kids doing hands-on touch math learning games. After they finished the game, they were building card houses, which is basic STEM, right? This is just another example. This is a 4th grade class on the left and the right, and the teacher had already taught the lesson, and then they broke up into 2. The kids they self-grade themselves. So they give themselves a green light if they learned the lesson and they don't feel like they need any help. They give themselves a yellow light if they feel like they just have a couple more questions to help them finish the lesson, or they give themselves a red light if they're like, I didn't get any of that and I need to reteach. Then the class breaks up when we have our parapros jump in, and the kids go in different groups and they get exactly what they need. So if they need a lesson to be retaught, the teacher reteaches it. If they need just 1 or 2 questions, the parapro helps support that. If they're ready to go and the teacher says, yep, you're ready to go, they're doing things like learning to play cribbage, they're playing chess, they're coding. We have 3D printers that they're building things on. I haven't done that wing group yet, so I couldn't tell you how to use that, but it's amazing what these teachers are coming up with to use with this time. And it's also giving us dedicated time to really make sure that our special education students, those are those 2 in the middle, are really getting what they need, and we're able to give them more intervention than we normally would, so we're going above and beyond what their IEPs are asking for, because we have more time to support them, and we're seeing huge gains in their proficiency and reading levels and things like that. So it's really exciting. So what's next for us? We're just going to continue to celebrate growth. We are also in the PLC model. Carrie talked about that, where our grade level teams are meeting together every Wednesday. They're using win groups as their data gathering time, so it's a really great way for them to know really what kids need, what they're learning, what the gaps are, and how we can best meet their needs. So I feel like we're packing a lot into our days, and we're getting a lot of bang for our buck, and it is really exciting. Even with all of the achievement gaps, I feel like we have a way to meet that need, and we've always done a really good job, but I feel like this year we have a really good grasp on it, and it's really exciting because It's just the beginning of the year and we're seeing huge amounts of growth. We're being able to exit kids out of intervention groups, put them on level groups already, and we're just in November. So that's what we're doing at Kootenai Elementary right now.
All right.
Thank you for that school update and presentation. And I have to say, some days I think I just want to go back to kindergarten.
Yeah, no.
You can come anytime.
I'm not sure I can do the chess in 4th grade. That might already be past me.
Well, they'll teach you. They're becoming experts.
But I appreciate seeing visuals of those WIN groups and what it looks like. And I don't know, is there any questions for Principal Knowles here from the board? Again, I think it is so valuable for us to get these school presentations because it really connects us as a board to our function and mission, which is helping students thrive. And it really gives us the experience, even though we can't be in the classroom every day. But thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome to come anytime. We love visitors and volunteers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't make me do times tables.
Yeah, exactly. We will move on in our presentations to Superintendent Albertson with an update.
Just as I've been tracking student attendance by school. I kind of shortened it down just so that you can get the snapshot of, say, the last running 5 weeks. And as we can see in some buildings, we've got some improvement on absences. And again, this is the worst case scenario. I want to remind you, it's not, if you were to calculate the attendance going to the state, it wouldn't be this bad. This is if any student missed any part of one day. You know, Principal Grenier talked about going to the dentist or something along that line. So you can see at some schools that we're showing an increase on that versus, or actually want to decrease, and then we have a few others that are increasing. But basically I would say overall not a significant change there, but you have that data in front of you. You can always ask me other questions. Also, we've been tracking the number of substitutes that we've needed. Probably on this chart here, this number right here is 69.39, almost 70% of jobs were filled. And for the week, in all schools, there was 120 needed. 98 needed subs, and we had 68. So maybe too premature to say that the action that you took in increasing the sub pay is making a difference, but maybe we will continue to watch for that trend to see if that is going to help there. So okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions?
Any questions from the board?
No, I just wanted to say that I like the trending down, but it's nowhere near where I want it to be.
Right. No, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. At this time, I'll hear a motion for consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. And we have a permission to surplus ShopBot.
Yeah, so I can explain that. So within our career technical education program, we have a 2002, and it's a CNC machine for wood. And ShopBot is the brand. The computer component is out, so it is not functioning at this time. And our CTE department is asking board's permission to surplus this on our surplus site, and we have upgraded already, and so you can see that it was 2002, and you've kind of got the background of where it came from as far as some career technical education funds, almost 20 years ago.
Right.
So
You're looking for a motion?
Yep, I'll hear a motion for that.
I make a motion that we give permission to surplus the ShopBot as presented to us.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. And we have, as information, we have the proposed ISBA resolutions in front of you. One of the things to clarify is that I will be virtually attending the business section of that and submitting our votes. I tend to listen to the discussion on the floor at the time and then submit votes based on the discussion. However, those of you who are not going and not attending would please give me your votes on these board resolutions in advance. And I know I have them from Pearlie, and I do also have them from Gary. But you have a week.
I'll shoot you this email. I've got
Yes.
them all right here.
In fact, you have until like Thursday of next week. Yeah.
That's
The business meeting's on Friday of next week. And at that time, during that business meeting, a lot of discussion on these ISBA resolutions comes out from both sides, from for and against. So I will be reporting back to the board and the public on which way our board of 5 votes on each of the resolutions as we go forward. We have a little bit of time tonight. Were there any questions you all had on the resolutions as they were presented? As you saw, there was some description of each one on a 1 or 2 page for each one. Is there any red flags or questions you have for tonight?
I didn't have any.
You don't have any? Okay.
I was on that call when we went through all of them, and it was pretty straightforward. So.
Yep. Superintendent, is there any questions you have on those? Well, with that, then I will be looking for votes from Carrie, Kelly, and Lonnie sometime in the next week.
Okay.
You got it.
Sure.
Okay. And also, if you have questions, you're also able to email ISBA in advance if you need clarification on any of those. But I will bring discussion and votes back to meeting as based on how we vote. Are there any announcements from? I'll start with Superintendent Albertson, and then we have administrators.
Yeah, just this Thursday's Veterans Day, we'll have veterans celebrations going on and recognition in all of our schools, and I think you've posted that, or?
I sent it as a press release to Bonner County Daily Bee and the Reader.
And many of our veterans have been reached out to. I would also like to recognize 2 of our board members as veterans, in Pearlie Decker and Carrie Kelly, and thank you for your service. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're welcome, by the way. Glad to do it.
So, have you guys been invited to schools?
I have not yet, but I'll be there.
I know which school you'll be going to. Clearly.
I'll be going to both of them out there.
That's good. Cool. That's good.
And I know, I believe Mr. Miles needed to leave. He did give me a few announcements from Sandpoint High School that to share. Very successful girls swim team. Took second at state, and congratulations to the women's swim team and Coach Jackson, and the boys took 4th. And the football team is playing in the semifinals this Friday. The choir, they had a great performance, and I think the 5 choir members made All-State and 2 in All-State Jazz Band. So there's only 20 people that make All-State. So it's pretty elite company again that Mr. Aaron Gordon and Mr. John Brownell do at Sandpoint High School there. So anyway, that's some announcements from Sandpoint High School.
Okay. And do we have other announcements from administrators, principals?
We're having a guest speaker on Thursday to celebrate Veterans Day, 37-year veteran, and we're going to support the parade that's going to go around the parking lot. I bought little mini flags for all the kids to support the parade.
Great.
So I'm excited about that.
Great. Great.
Susical.
And
Southside
yes.
Elementary set a goal to read 3,000 books in October, and if they met their goal, I got to dress up. I would dress up like a chicken and dance in each classroom. Well, they met their goal, and I got to dance on Halloween to the song Ghostbusters 7 different times. I'm still pretty sore from that event. They're already talking about starting the next competition. I don't know what it's going to be. They won't tell me, so I'm sure they're going to try to beat this one.
That's right. It's motivating students.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'll just
Yes.
mention too that something that wasn't in the presentation is we were able to have 2 concerts, a band and a fire concert last weekend that were very successful. And our band takes off tomorrow to go collaborate with the Correlate School, and they'll be spending all day collaborating with 2 different schools down there. And it's not a battle with the band, it's a collaboration.
Yeah, that's great. I think that, did I miss anybody?
No.
I don't think so. Well, thank you very much. And with that, our meeting is adjourned.